I mean, is it kind of like what you've always wanted to do or what you want to do, or is it something that like you're still ambivalent about?
You have been terminated from Resonance and a path forward. So to explain this whole story, I need to take this back to 2019, where All Caps started. So All Caps was initially supposed to be my freelance photography company, and I was doing fashion photo. And I really wanted that to be like my full-time thing, but it was really hard to do in Philly because Philly is not known necessarily for fashion. The only way to really make it in Philly as a fashion photographer is if you work for Urban Outfitters, and I wasn't doing that, and I don't think I wanted to do that. I wanted to kind of create my own career. So after being frustrated with that, using my history in streetwear, up until that point, I was in streetwear for about 10 years. I was working in streetwear since I was 15, and I started All Caps around 24, 25. So I was in the streetwear world and like experiencing that whole world for like 10 years. I was a buyer, I was a manager of a store called Ep.3 in Philadelphia, and I did that for 10 years. So I had a lot of experience in that culture, but I never made anything, I never designed anything. So I decided to take a stab at that world for the first time and used All Caps as the vehicle to do so. And things started to snowball. I had one drop with one t-shirt in a tote bag, and it did really well. And then after that, I released another t-shirt. And then after that, I released another t-shirt. And I just kept like making small stuff here and there and just building the hype and building the brand slowly. And then over time, it started to gain steam. And by the beginning of 2020, I was reaching 10 years of working at P's and Q's, and I just wanted to do something different. I wanted to explore something new. I always have like this gut feeling of when I should leave something. I followed that feeling for college. I followed that feeling for leaving home. I followed that feeling for everything. Like every time I feel that feeling, I follow it, and it's always worked out. So I had that feeling for P's and Q's, and I was like, I need to get out of here. So I did. And that was around February of 2020. And if you know anything about COVID, you know in America, things shut down in March of 2020. I quit my full-time job thinking I would be able to get another job or like sustain myself through All Caps maybe, or like just find like a part-time job as like a retail assistant or something. I don't know. I was trying to figure it out. And eventually COVID happens and I'm freaking out even more. I'm like, what's gonna happen? Like, I don't know what to do. I don't have any income. I don't have any job. I'm just like, what is going on? So I'm like in an absolute whirlwind trying to figure this out. I really like All Caps is picking up steam, but I don't necessarily have the capital to fund it. And at this point, we're building some relationships with some stores, some brands, some of them like Mr. Green, 18 East. These were becoming like early partnerships. So eventually I started doing photography for 18 East, and that started to bring in a bit more income. And just through that opportunity, we started to like make a more meaningful relationship. We ended up just doing more collaborations. We did a BLM collab mid of that year. And we just started to work together with 18 East a lot. And eventually Antonio, who is the founder and designer of 18 East, reached out to his team and had his team look into All Caps as potential investors. And they did their homework, they interviewed us, they took note of our ideas and what our goals were, and eventually they invested in All Caps and made All Caps full-time for me and Andrew. So being in the middle of COVID with no income, with no job, with no way to fully sustain my dream, this seemed like a no-brainer. Like I wanted to do this full-time, and especially like to be able to bring Andrew on with me was like, I needed that to happen. So we agreed to do it. And the idea was they take a part of the company to put us on salary and to also invest into the company. So we accepted that deal, and that whole ordeal was a 3-year contract, and that ended at the end of 2023. And so that brings us to Resonance. So Resonance comes into play once this contract ends. So essentially what happened was the same agreement that we had with the 18 East team got transferred over to Resonance. So we were still on payroll, and they were still investing into the company, trying to make it grow, just like funding production, marketing, stuff like that, up until a couple of days ago. Now we have been terminated from Resonance, meaning they are no longer supporting All Caps in that way. And instead, we will be working with Resonance only as a production partner. So we are only going to be making stuff through Resonance, and we are no longer going to be on payroll. If we want to pay ourselves, it comes from the brand. And it ultimately comes from just making sure the brand is profitable. So with that being said, it just gives us a bit more skin in the game, and it gives us a bit more actual risk. It makes us more entrepreneurs. We're getting ownership back of the company. So this will help put things in a more realistic viewpoint instead of like us building this brand and being attached to some sort of security. So yesterday I was listening to a podcast and it mentioned this quote, and it says, the 3 most harmful addictions are heroin, carbohydrates, and a monthly salary. And to put that into perspective, for us, we've been on a monthly salary since almost the beginning of All Caps. So it made the urgency and like the sense of risk and the sense of deep attachment, if you will, like we didn't have that skin in the game. Like we didn't have that that risk on the table. We didn't have that sense like if this drop didn't do well, this is over. Like I've always carried that, and I've always felt bad when like I always felt like really intense about when drops didn't succeed. Like I always felt that internally, just like as a producer, as a maker, as an artist. Like I've always felt when things didn't resonate well, like that always hit to my core. But this is now on a deeper level that it now affects our livelihood. Like I'm no longer guaranteed like to be able to pay my rent that month if a drop doesn't do well. So it makes us come up with like more creative ideas and gives us more, it almost brings like the dog out of you, if you will, right? Like it almost like this is now become like, now if we don't succeed, it's fully on us. And we have to make sure we take care of pay, and we have to make sure we take care of production. We got to make sure we take care of healthcare, our payrolls, and maybe the goal for the immediate is to take a pay cut and make sure we can like reduce the monthly cost, because we still got to pay for this space. The studio is not cheap. We still got to pay for talent. Talent is not cheap. We still got to pay for production. Production is not cheap. We have salaries. We have healthcare. There's so much that goes into it, and now it all becomes much more real, if you will. Like it's now like we have to make this work, and if it doesn't work, we just have to move on. But I truly believe in All Caps. Andrew believes in All Caps. Resonance and their team still believes in All Caps, and I think our community still believes in All Caps. So I want to make this dream work, and we will make it work. And we're going to use this year to prove it. We're going to use this year to prove all of our ideas, get the community together in meaningful ways, and really just build something special in Philly. And also I want to start expanding outside of Philly a bit, maybe going to New York a little bit, maybe going to LA a little bit. Like I want to figure out how to make this more national, make it more global, because I feel like the themes that we talk about, it's essentially that we're all connected. We're all in this together. I say that a lot to my friends. I say we're all in this together, and I literally I mean that in like a deep way. Like we're all connected. Like if you truly think about the human experience and like what we go through, like yes, there's classism, yes, there's race, like there's all these different things, but at the core of being human, we are all connected in such deep and meaningful ways that we just can't ignore that. And I think everyone has a story, everyone has something they've gone through that we can learn from, that we can not only just learn from, that we can have a dialogue and conversation about that may affect someone else. And I truly just believe in that sense of being and being able to communicate and be open. And that's almost like why this YouTube channel exists, right? Like I want to have this dialogue openly. I want to share the story of All Caps and how we came about, because this journey has been like, honestly, one of the hardest things I've ever done in my entire life. Like even just being able to accept that initial deal, like I had such a moral dilemma with that. Like I didn't know if I was doing the right thing. At the time, it felt like the right thing because I like, quite honestly, just had the only other choice was to do it from the muscle and continue doing pre-sale. And I guess that could have been the goal, and we could have done that for sure. But it just didn't seem promising just doing that didn't seem so promising, especially during the time of COVID, where things just quite literally seemed uncertain. You never knew what was happening the next day. One day there's an outbreak, another day there's a riot, the next day is like, it was kind of insane. So it was like truly unprecedented, and I was trying to make the most security for myself and for Andrew. So I took the thing, and now we're here, and now it's gone. And I very much think it's for the better. I think this is exactly how we should have been running all caps to begin with. So with that, 2025, I think it's starting off great. It's definitely been chaos and a bit hectic, but I think this is exactly what we want, right? We want to have the ownership in our hands. We want to have that feeling if this drop doesn't do well, then how are we going to pay for the next? Like we want like as deep as that feel, like as hard as that may seem, like as an entrepreneur, as a brand owner, you need to feel that. You need to feel that sense of potential loss, right? You need to feel that just to be able to give all that you have. Because that's what it takes to run a business. You have to give all that you have. You literally have to give all that you have. I spent so much time in this studio, like even before this termination, I would spend 10, 12 hours a day here, right? But like now with this happening, it puts the focus somewhere else. Like I'm using that same time, but now I'm doubling down on content. I'm making this video. I'm doubling down on designs. I'm designing months ahead. I'm doubling down on all the areas that all caps makes the most benefit off of. Instead of like world building and working on like the philosophy side of the brand, which I was doing a lot in 2024, I'm really going to be like a bit more strategic. Like I need to follow this path, and everything will still have deep meaning, but I need to go to this path of entrepreneurship where I have to balance both the philosophy side of things and also the business side of things and also the community side of things. Like there's like a balance to that, and this year I'll be figuring that out. So yeah, that is what's going on in all caps at the moment. We just had a drop for Appreciate Everything, Expect Nothing, and that sold out. So I'm very grateful for that. I'm thinking about doing a restock for that. Let me know if you guys want a restock of that. And yeah, that's where we are. That's where we are. It's very real. It's very, that is what's happening. And I'm truly just excited. I'm excited for the future. I think we have an amazing team. I think we have an amazing support system. I think we have an amazing community, and I think we can do this. And it's just gonna take a lot of grind. I think it's gonna take a lot of doubling down on this stuff, and like pressing the record button even though I feel tired, pressing the record button even if I don't have like a certain idea, like just pressing the button, like just keep going. I was just talking about this on TikTok today, like having a bias towards action, like just as soon as I have a thought, just acting on that, like really just going like in on all these things that I've been trying to like, sometimes I just like ruminate and just let these thoughts take over my brain, and like they paralyze me sometimes. So I'm trying to counter that. So as soon as I have a thought, like maybe it's a customer service request, like I'm on it. If it's a design idea, I'm on it. If it's a text message or a call, I'm on it. Like I'm just trying to handle all these thoughts, and it's a lot of things that I'm doing on a day-to-day basis. But I think if I can use that framework and tackle those things in like a way that's that I prioritize my livelihood and like the sake of the business and like things that matter, like I think we will be in good hands. And I think as long as we could get ahead of the calendar a little bit and design it forward and create meaningful stories, like I still like want to use each month to hit on a theme. January's theme was Appreciate Everything, Expect Nothing. February's theme is going to be about the universal expression of love. And I'm just trying to keep these things going. Like I want to talk through stories, through design, and really just connect with people on an authentic and genuine level that means something to me. So that will be the goal. That's the goal for 2025. That's the goal for 2025. And so yeah, thank you guys for watching. Today is January 22nd. So we're 22 days into the year, and yeah, man, I'm excited for the road. I'm excited for the journey. I'm excited for the path. And thank you guys for being with us. We're working on our next drop. Our next drop will be on the 21st of February. We're doing some new Focus Camo stuff. We're doing some new, and with that, I'm trying to like build the world around all caps. So we're trying to do the Focus Camo, but we're introducing some new basics, and yeah, I'm trying to really create like the world of all caps, and we're slowly developing that. So you'll start to see like the world was I'm starting to build now with like the YouTube and the behind the scenes, but I really want to keep digging deeper and showing you guys like the world that I really want to live in and create. So thank you guys for watching. I love you guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you guys want to see a restock of the latest collection, let me know. If you guys have any thoughts about this video, let me know. Drop a comment below. And if you haven't, please subscribe. And I love you guys. Thank you so much for everything. Appreciate y'all. Much love. Peace.
It's doable. I mean, I did it. It was, I'm not trying to say it's the same thing because like, you know, whatever, like at the time I was just out of university, I was able to live at home and stuff like that. Like, you know, everyone has different circumstances, right? Like I'm not trying to say they're analogous, but I will say that like to get my business to a point where after like 7 years, I was able to like sell it and move to America. Like it did take 3 or 4 years of really just put everything on the line for the business if you really want it to be what you want to do. You know, if this is what you want to do, and I don't even know if it is what you want to do, but if it is, then yeah, you got to sell stuff, you know?
Yeah, no, 100%.
I mean, is it kind of like what you've always wanted to do or what you want to do, or is it something that like you're still ambivalent about?
No, I mean, since I was 15, I think I've kind of entered the world of streetwear since I was 15, and my number one goal always was either to have a store or run a brand. So it's been a dream for almost 15 years now. So yeah, it's been a journey. I love the industry. I think my heart's in it, the community around it, it's in it. Like I think I have a good base. I think I need to revisit a few things and maybe have a tougher conversation with Andrew and figure some things out, but I think is very much in line with what I want to be.
I think that there's plenty of examples in America of people like you that have made successful brands. You know, if you think about like you and I talk about them sometimes, you probably know more than I do about them, but like I look at like what Brain Dead does. I look at what Antonio's done, and like to be honest, Antonio's business at 18 East, like yes, you know, we've kind of like been here to help it, you know, fund its way through whatever, but because of his background, he's always been very focused on the business side of things too. And so it's more or less always been a profitable business, which has made all of these conversations with the board of directors and all this stuff like a lot easier, because at the end of the day, it might not be growing as much as we hoped or liked, but it's growing a little bit, but more importantly, like it's profitable, it's making money, it's not losing money. But even there's just so many good examples of like online ceramics, of, you know, like Usa in LA. I mean, I think there's like lots of like precedent for brand that you have in your mind that you want all caps to be. And I think the one thing I will say, points of view out there where a profitable $1 million brand is a really good thing. Like it's not something to turn your nose up at. And so I don't think like what the expectations are kind of crazy here. I don't think anyone's saying like unless you're a massive business, like no one's interested in it. I think it's literally just about becoming profitable. But I think the general sentiment is yes, like you're gonna have to make some sacrifices with a goal to kind of see if you can ramp sales up quickly. And then everything will kind of work out. I think that's the kind of, you know, that's it's as simple as that. Like I think if you can focus on that just for a little bit, then the other stuff will come back into play again. Yeah, 100%. We'll have to take a pay cut for sure. So I think just having that initial conversation and then seeing where that leads and then taking it from there. Sweet. All right, mate. Well, yeah, keep your head up. I mean, I know it's always like, it was a pretty intense email, but again, I do. Yeah, it's all right though. Yeah, look, I think that like, I do still like firmly believe that everyone, including Lawrence, like really does think this brand has a lot of value and what you're doing has a lot of value. But yeah, look, I mean, at the end of the day, like this is a business that has to sell stuff, you know, to make money. I mean, it's just the commercial side of the business is hard to like deny. So you'll get there for sure. Cool. All right, mate. Yeah, just call me anytime if you want to chat. Cool. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, man. All right. See ya. Peace. Bye. Bye.